Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. Keith keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
Greetings, good people of the planet Earth and the known universe. You're listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. Happy Halloween, good people of the planet Earth and the known universe. Happy Halloween. And for this edition of our music podcast, it's Halloween themed, of course. So the first album we're going to talk about is Now That's What I Call Halloween. So yeah, there's a Now That's What I Call a compilation series that's been going on for years. In America, they're up to volume 68. I believe this is the first time we've had a Halloween edition. So this is part one. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do for part two. So it's got the classic Now, that's what I call, on the cover. In the background, they have like cobwebs and pumpkins underneath Halloween and a little castle and bats and spiders. It's pretty cool. And it says underneath it, on the cover of the CD, includes Werewolves of London, Monster Mash, Halloween Theme, Devil Inside, Dragula, and more. Now, mind you, I really wanted to go over every song on this record and I couldn't. But it was that much fun. So I don't want to give it away, but okay, let's get into it. All right. So I'm also Screamin' Jay Hawkins. His album is called At Home with Screamin' Jay Hawkins. It's a reissue. And Halloween Hits. So this is all Halloween themed. You ask, well, Captain Keith, why Screamin' Jay Hawkins? So you've heard that song over and over again, and it's been redone many times, and it's been sampled. I put a spell on you because you're mine. Yeah, that's him. That's his classic song. It's been redone over and over again, and it was sampled by Puffy and Biggie. And yeah, it sure was. It's a great song. So we have an album that song's on and some other stuff. And Halloween Hits is just some other great Halloween stuff. You know what? And I wanted to do my own playlist for you guys this year, but I didn't get a chance to. But I want to make one anyway and see about that. And definitely next year I'm going to see what I can do about that. But I'm going to make my own playlist of different songs that are Halloween themed, from hip hop to rock and roll to everything in between that just have that kind of vibe. So that would be, we'll talk about that, from whether it's, Magic's Wand or the Haunted House from Houdini to Possum Kingdom by the Toadies. All just kind of eerie, sinister songs and cool songs, or Dana Dane with Nightmares. So, happy Halloween. I said that already. I'm just excited about that. And I really thought about that. There's not enough Halloween records from artists. You get a Christmas record, but you don't get a Halloween record, from an artist. So I'm all about that. I want to see artists do like a Halloween record. So, whether they do originals and covers. It's a great holiday. I love it. So let me give you some history, like I said, about the Now compilation. It's as part of their holiday theme compilation series, the folks at Now Music roll out Now That's What I Call Halloween. It's an 18-track set full of occasionally spooky yet mostly playful tracks ranging from the 1960s through the 90s, macabre. Maestro Danny Elfman makes multiple appearances with themes from movies like The Nightmare Before Christmas and Beetlejuice, as well as the track Dead Man's Party from his rock band Oingo Boingo. That's where he came from. Other film music like John Carpenter's Halloween theme. What do I say about that? So that's like one of my favorite horror movies of all time. And one of the reasons why is because of John Carpenter's theme music. So this guy's not only a director of film, but he's also a composer of the music for his films. And that's like a double threat. You don't always get that with it when you get a director who's making film. So he's a very talented person. That music with the keys, it's just so sinister and creepy. I love it. It puts me in the mood when I watch the Halloween movies. The Halloween franchise movies are not Halloween without that music. It's like you can't have Rocky without the dun 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 dun. You cannot have a Halloween Michael Myers film without that music. It's just synonymous. It's a perfect storm. Just all comes together. One of the coolest creepy instrumentals you ever hear. That's the first track on here. So I can't really go into too much detail because there's no vocals on it, but it's just a great track. And it's cool because when you watch the Halloween movies, like I saw the new one, with Jamie Lee Curtis. I spoke about it briefly on my entertainment podcast. I did like a little mini movie review on it. A great film. You hear that music and you just get the creeps all over again. And what's cool, one of the great things about that Michael Myers character is that he puts that creepy white mask on and he's walking around stalking and killing people. And he always has the most innocent wide-eyed look in his face right before he kills you. It's such a splendid contrast when it comes to a film. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that. He just when you notice him, he always looks like he's so nice and sweet, and then the hand comes up with the knife and it's over. But yeah, so that's on here. Mike Oldfield's ironically creepy Tubular Bells from the Exorcist film, and that's like the first horror film I can remember as a kid. Is The Exorcist. That was like a really big deal and it scared a lot of people when it came out with Linda Blair. And it's set alongside very unscary rock tracks like NXS's Devil Inside. Cute song. Would I have put it on the album? Probably not, but hey, we'll go with it. And Warren Zevon's Werewolves in London, one of his most famous tracks, which receives nods here simply for mentioning scary things in their titles. Between, Devil Inside and Werewolves in London, the theme. Bobby Boris Pickett and the Crypt Kickers with Monster Mash. That's a shoo-in for any Halloween comp. For some reason, though, but it's Run DMC's 1989 remix version of Ghostbusters that makes the cut over Ray Parker Jr.'s far more popular 84 single. Don't understand that one at all and how that happened. So that's a good description of the compilation. So now I'm going to go into my review of the CD itself. So... And mind you, there were so many songs I wanted to go over, but I had to narrow it down. And I did. So, but we're going to start off with Bad Things by Jace Everett. So you're like, who was that? And what are you talking about, Captain Keith? Well, please hold on and I'll tell you. So this song starts off with an electric guitar playing low-end chords. The rhythm guitar, it glides into like a country/rockabilly groove. You can hear an acoustic guitar overlapping the rhythm guitar. The opening drums and guitars playing a galloping-like pace, rhythmically speaking. I mean, that's like the best way I can describe the pace of the song in that regard. So, a funky church organ. Tongue-tied today. A funky church organ comes in and out of the song right before the chorus. And by the way, this song is famous for being the intro music to HBO's True Blood television series. The walking bass line firmly drives the song. Jace Everett's voice has a soulful, country haunting to it on this song. When I originally heard this song back in the day, I always thought it was Chris Isaac singing. The two sound similar to me, but I'm definitely ready to listen to some more Jace Everett. I forgot how much I love this song. And when you watch it with the True Blood TV series intro, it just all comes together. The lyrics are great and confusing all at the same time. When Jace Everett says he wants to do bad things to you, I don't know if he means sexually or violently. I'm really not quite sure. I just know that I like the song. The song is sinister and sexy at the same time. Yeah, definitely. And yes, I never thought that would be a sentence that I would ever use to describe music, but there it is. Yeah. And here's some of the lyrics from the song. When you came in, the air went out, and every shadow filled up with doubt. I don't know who you think you are, but before the night is through, I want to do bad things with you. Now, mind you, if you've never watched True Blood, watch an episode and pay attention to that intro. It's bizarre and creepy, and it's just like it's a black and white in color. You see like a Klansman, you see a dead wolf, you see maggots, you see all kinds of just really scary things. And the music just complements the intro, and you just know that you're in for a special something or a special show when you watch that intro music and the footage. So I just wanted to mention that to you. I'll start the lyrics over again. So when you came in, the air went out, and every shadow filled up with doubt. I don't know who you think you are, but before the night is through, I want to do bad things with you. I'm not giving it justice, but these are the lyrics. I'm the kind to sit up in his room, heart sick and eyes filled up with blue. I don't know what you've done to me, but I know this much is true. I want to do bad things with you. Okay. When you came in, the air went out, and all those shadows there didn't leave any doubt. I don't know who you think you are, but before the night is through, I want to do bad things with you. I want to do real bad things with you. And then you hear a howl. I don't know what you've done to me, but I know this one thing is true. I want to do bad things with you. I want to do real bad things with you. So, so we get it. He wants to do bad things with you. But when he sings it, is this countrified, soulful, just vocal. It's just compelling. I like this song. I just do. It's just a brilliant song. But like I said, I'm still not sure on whether or not he wants to hurt this person or sleep with this person or do both. Just not quite. It was kind of abstract a little bit in that way. It really was. But yeah, but the compilation starts off with, like I said, the Halloween theme, main title, and it's just so good. I love that. It's just, yeah. Because whenever I hear it, I think of the movie. It's just one of those things. Like I said, there's not too many directors to actually do the score to their own film. And then there's Dracula with Rob Zombie. It's, not really my thing. Carmina Burana, O Fortuna by Leonard Shakin. So you've heard that music. I don't know how they decided to put it with horror films, but it's always synonymous. Whenever you hear like this operatic choir in the background, the dun 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 dun, that's Carmina Burana. I need to find out the origin of that whole like opera, but I've heard that like in the background for the Damien films and just other like horror films. They'll use it in commercials or they'll make it a part of the soundtrack. But they chose that to put on here. Tubular Bells, like we said earlier, the theme from The Exorcist from Mike Oldfield. That's really creepy too when you hear it. It is, definitely. Man, the classic like rock and roll song, Don't Fear the Reaper from Blue Oyster Cult. That's just nothing sounds like that song. The dual harmonies, it's just, and the guitar, so rhythm. It's just a cool tune. I love that song. I do, but I'm not covering that. But it's on this record. So so it's on this compilation. So the next track on this compilation that I want to talk about is called Ghost Town by the Specials. And I'm going to give you a quick bio on them, and then we'll get into the song. The Specials are an English two-tone and ska band formed in Coventry, England in 1977. 3 years later, in 1980, the band achieved their first #1 hit in UK with Too Much, Too Young, the lead track on The Special, aka Live EP. The following year, the unemployment-themed single Ghost Town also hit #1 in the UK singles chart. The band went on to release 7 consecutive UK top 10 singles between 1979 and 81. That's pretty impressive. But their success came to an abrupt end as 3 of the members left to form Fun Boy 3. The remaining lineup was revised substantially, and in 1984 issued new material, including the top 10 hit single Free Nelson Mandela. However, this would prove to be the end for the Specials, as founder and songwriter Jerry Dammers dissolved the band later that year, going on to pursue political activism instead. Okay, that's interesting. The group returned in 1993 under the name The Special, aka, and have continued to perform with varying lineups without Dammers. And Free Nelson Mandela was done as they were The Special, aka. So there's The Specials, The Special, aka. So the members overlap. But I'm glad that they decided to keep it moving. Ghost Town starts off with haunting with a haunting like wind sound. It sounds like a hard wind with a slight siren sound in the background. In other words, like a ghost. We'll talk some more about Ghost Town after this break.
Always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
And once again, you're listening to Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast, the Halloween edition. This is Captain Keith. So we're talking about the song Ghost Town from the Specials. This is on this, now that's what I call Halloween music. So I was describing the intro. An organ comes in gradually alongside horns and keyboards with a dizzy type of sound. The bass line has a reggae groove to it, and so does the Hammond organ. The two are in sync and navigate the song. You can hear a childlike chanting in the background that sounds really eerie. A flute comes in into the song before the trombone and flugelhorn. The flute sound has a Middle Eastern vibe to the sound. The background vocals are off in the distance, and you can hear the haunting ghost-like breeze flowing through the song, giving the song its scary yet cool ending. The song definitely has more of a reggae production vibe to it than ska. You can definitely hear both elements within the song. This song is about the riots that were going on in Bristol and Brixton, England. But when the rest of Great Britain heard the track, it became a commentary on towns with failing economies and how they all became ghost towns, so to speak. So, and then, yeah, so it's a really kind of eerie, cool song. And when you hear this song and when you hear stuff like A Message to You, Rudy, and Free Nelson Mandela, you're like, this is the same group? This is a ska group? Yeah, the Specials were pretty cool. So here's the lyrics to Ghost Town. This town is coming like a ghost town. All the clubs have been closed down. This place is coming like a ghost town. Bands won't play no more. Too much fighting on the dance floor. Do you remember the good old days before the ghost town? We danced and sang, and the music played in the boom town. This town, it's coming like a ghost town. Why must the youth fight against themselves? Government leaving the youth on the shelf. This place is coming like a ghost town. No job to be found in this country. Can't go on no more. The people getting angry. This town is coming like a ghost town. 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 So yeah, I mean, it's a good song. It's a political song. It's about the economy for the working class and how there's been, you know, the failing economy for the working class and how they've been, yeah. And so that's what the song's about. But because they call it Ghost Town, they gave it like a ghostly, cool vibe. So it's a Halloween song without even trying to be, but it's also a political song. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So. And this is a group that started off in the late 70s, just saying. So very impressive. So, like I said, there are a lot of songs in here that I like, and I had to narrow it down, and it wasn't easy. So, but before I get into this last track, which is actually the last track on the album too, I'm gonna reference the other songs on here. So yes, I mentioned before, Blue Oyster Cult, Love Them, Don't Fear the Reaper. It's just a great song, great distinct vocals. It's almost, it was kind of like a Stoner Burnout song too. It kind of was. I ain't gonna lie, it was. Yeah, it's just a great song. Where Was in London, like I said, the cool song from Warren Zevon. Dead Man's Party is a good song from Oingo Boingo. That's where Danny Elfman got to start before he started doing scores for soundtracks. Monster Mash is a lot of fun, but we're going to talk about that. That's on another record that I'm reviewing. Season of the Witch, Donovan. Oh, man. I first heard that song in a Nicole Kidman film, I think, with Joaquin Phoenix, and I forget what it was called. But I enjoyed the song when I heard it. It's just a cool, funky, psychedelic rock track from Donovan. Yeah, he did his thing with that. The Beetlejuice music is cool with Danny Elfman. I didn't care for the Ghostbusters by Run DMC, not at all. And I love Run DMC. They should let that alone. Just saying. A Nightmare on My Street. Throwback. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince off of He's the DJ, I'm the Rapper. It was during the whole Nightmare on Elm Street craze. They couldn't call it that, so they were sly on how they did it. But you know who they're talking about. They're talking about Freddy Krueger, and it's a cool, fun track. This is early Will Smith. He's Fresh Prince. He wasn't even Will Smith. He was the Fresh Prince. So we forget that he is an old school hip hop pioneer, him and Jazzy Jeff. So they've been in the game for a long time. It's crazy. So now the last song on this album that I am going to review. So the last track on this compilation is Rockwell with Somebody's Watching Me, which features Michael Jackson and Jermaine Jackson, but you hear Michael in the chorus. And a brief bio on who Rockwell is. His real name was Kennedy William Gordy, better known by his stage name Rockwell. He's a former American musician and singer-songwriter who was signed to the Motown label. To avoid the appearance of nepotism, he secured his record deal without his father's knowledge. Motown actually came up with the name Rockwell, and the young Gordy agreed to the change because he believed he rocked well. In 1984, Rockwell released his biggest hit single, Somebody's Watching Me, featuring childhood friend Michael Jackson, who was also signed to Motown on guest vocals. Notably in the chorus lyrics, which is true. Like I said, Jermaine Jackson singing backup as well. Somebody's Watching Me became a gold certified million-selling #2 smash hit in the U.S., while also peaked at #6 in the U.K. Additionally, it held #1 on Billboard's R&B chart for 5 weeks. Follow-up singles underperformed, though, however, with the single Obscene Phone Caller, which is a good song and a cute little video, actually, being Rockwell's only other top 40 single. This follow-up single reached #35 on the Billboard Hot 100. Rockwell soon ended his musical career with Motown, but since he's apparently coming back to make new music. So let me describe this the song. It's a great song. Somebody's Watching Me starts off with a stuttered drum roll, which then leads to the organ playing a sinister style rhythm that sounds like it would be in a Vincent Price horror film. The organ rhythm definitely has a horror movie cinematic feel to it. A robotic sounding low end voice comes in and says, "Tell me who was watching," but it sounds a lot more robotic than how I just did it. Who's watching me? Another keyboard comes in and plays a lighter tone rhythm with a clavinet sound effect. The keyboard and organ anchor the song. There are keys that lay in the background which play atmospherics to the haunting organ. Rockwell sings his verses as if he is an excited and scared old Englishman who is suffering from paranoia. I enjoyed writing that line down. I really did. Michael Jackson's background vocals just make the song even more compelling when you hear it. The song is actually pop perfection. The organ playing throughout most of the song sounds very similar to the Twilight Zone TV show theme music, actually. At least the first half of the Twilight Zone theme music. Let me say that much. This song is about being way too paranoid in regards to everything around you. And when you watch the video, you see Rockwell's walking around. You don't see him singing, but you see him walking around getting freaked out by his apartment. It's pretty cool. So, and here's the lyrics from the song. "I'm just an average man with an average life. I work from 9 to 5. Hey, hell, I pay the price. All I want is to be left alone in my average home. But why do I always feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone?" And, see, I forgot about the Twilight Zone reference right there. Then the hook, Michael Jackson and Rockwell. "I always feel like somebody's watching me and I have no privacy." See, I have to try real hard not to sing this. It's ingrained in my soul. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? So then verse 2 is, "When I come home at night, I bolt the door real tight. People call me on the phone. I'm trying to avoid. But can the people on TV see me, or am I just paranoid? When I'm in the shower, I'm afraid to wash my hair." Because I might open my eyes and find someone standing there. People say I'm crazy, just a little touched, but maybe showers remind me of Psycho too much. That's why I always feel like somebody's watching me and I have no privacy. This is all Michael Jackson right here. I always feel like somebody's watching me who's playing tricks on me, and then that's Rockwell. And then there's the instrumental break with the funky organ keyboard. And then Rockwell comes back in for verse 3. I don't know anymore. Are the neighbors watching me? Well, is the mailman watching me? And I don't feel safe anymore. Oh, what a mess. I wonder who's watching me now. Who? The IRS? I'm sure the IRS I'm sure they were tickled when they heard the song. And then the hook, I always feel like somebody's watching me. And then Rockwell, and I have no privacy. So Michael sings, I always feel like somebody's watching me. And then Rockwell, tell me it's just a dream. And then the hook, I always feel like somebody's watching me and I have no privacy. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Who's playing tricks on me? I always feel like somebody's watching me. 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 Who's playing tricks on me? So yeah, he's paranoid. It's a good song though. I mean, it's a great Halloween song, but when the song came out, no one thought about it that way. But the video has that vibe to it, and it's perfect. So that's why it's on this compilation, and I'm glad that it is. And I'm glad they ended the compilation, or this first installment with it. So now that's what I call Halloween Music Compilation, is a great collection of Halloween-themed music from diverse musical artists such as Bobby Boris Pickett and the Crypt Kickers, Oingo Boingo, Nina Simone. Yes, she does do a version of I Put a Spell on You. Run DMC, Blue Oyster Cult, InXS, Rockwell, The Specials, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, to many more. The multi-genre artists make the listening experience that much more fun. Are there some songs missing from this compilation that I would have wanted to hear? Yes. All that really means is that it will probably be on the next installment. Now that's what I call Halloween Music Volume 2. Looking forward to that. So I'm just putting it out there. I look forward to that next year. This compilation has got me hooked on this series now, at least in regards for Halloween music. The North American version of the Now That's What I Call Music series is now up to volume 68. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst and 10 being the best, I give this record a 7.5. So my favorite tracks are Halloween, a theme, the main title by John Carpenter, Carmina Burana, O Fortuna by Leonard Slatkin, Tubular Bells, theme from The Exorcist by Mike Oldfield, Don't Fear, The Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult, Devil Inside by InXS. I mean, I wouldn't have put the song on there, but I like the song, so it's all good. Bad Things by Jace Everett. Once again, that's from the True Blood soundtrack. TV series. Werewolves of London by Warren Zevon. Great howling and great piano in that song. Ghost Town by The Specials. Gotta hear that song. There's a video for it too that's pretty cool and kind of creepy. They're driving around town and it's all dark and just abandoned. Monster Mash by Bobby Boris Pickett and the Crypt Kickers. A very fun, lighthearted Halloween song. One of the most popular Halloween songs of its day, actually. Season of the Witch by Donovan. And I think Donovan's like a folk artist, and this song just rocks. It's just a cool, sinister, psychedelic rock and roll song. I love to talk to him, ask him how he came up with the song and what his inspiration was for writing this song. It's very cool. A Nightmare on My Street by DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince is an ode to the Nightmare on Elm Street soundtrack or character, Freddy Krueger. And of course, Somebody's Watching Me by Rockwell, which has Michael Jackson doing the chorus. So, yeah, definitely worth having. Definitely. So, once again, now that's what I call Halloween music. Pick it up if you're looking for a compilation that's got a little bit of everything. This is the one. Lots of fun. Instrumentals and vocal tracks, so they don't disappoint. And next on the list, Screamin' Jay Hawkins. It's a reissue, and it's called At Home with Screamin' Jay Hawkins. And the cover has him sitting like on a black floor or a black carpet. He's got his legs folded, and he's got this sunglasses on and like a Swami hat or turban on top of his head with like a purple boa coming out of his hat. And he's got like a plant to his left, some grapes to his further left, a pink phone to his right in front of him, and a pink flower in a teal or turquoise vase. And he's looking to the left, to his left with his head tilted, with his right hand holding his hat with his pinky up, and his left hand pointing towards the flower pot. There's a flower pot in front of him to his left diagonally. It's interesting. We'll get into the record after this break.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
And once again, you're listening to GSMC Music Podcast. This is your Captain Keith. So Screamin' Jay Hawkins, once again, his new album, it's a reissue. It's called At Home with Screamin' Jay Hawkins. And let's talk about who he is, actually, for those of you who don't know. His real name was Jelassie Screamin' Jay Hawkins, born July 18th, 1929. He passed away February 12th in the year 2000, 18 years ago. Was an American singer, songwriter, musician, and actor, famed chiefly for his powerful operatic vocal delivery and wildly theatrical performances of songs such as I Put a Spell on You, his most famous song. He sometimes used macabre props on stage, making him an early pioneer of shock rock. Yes, he was. Yeah, he basically fathered shock rock. Born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, Hawkins studied classical piano as a child and learned guitar in his 20s. His initial goal was to become an opera singer. Hawkins cited Paul Robeson as his musical idol in interviews. But when his initial ambitions failed, he began his career as a conventional blues singer and pianist. He joined the U.S. Army in 1944 and entertained troops as part of his service. After leaving the Army, he returned to music and boxing. Hawkins was an avid and formidable boxer. In 1949, he was the middleweight boxing champion of Alaska. Right? Who knew? In 1951, he joined guitarist Tiny Grimes' band and was subsequently featured on some of Grimes' recordings. When Hawkins became a solo performer, he often performed in a stylish wardrobe of leopard skins, red leather, and wild hats. Yes, folks, he's a rock and roll star. There you go. Let's just listen to that, his wardrobe. I mean, who does that? Who walks around wearing that? Yeah. So, I Put a Spell on You. We'll talk about that. But we won't review that song just yet, but we'll talk about that. Hawkins' most successful recording, I Put a Spell on You, in 1956, was selected as one of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's 500 songs that shaped rock and roll. Yeah, definitely. According to the All Music Guide to the Blues, Hawkins originally envisioned the tune as a refined ballad. The entire band was intoxicated during a recording session where Hawkins screamed, grunted, and gurgled his way through the tune with utter drunken abandon. The The resulting performance was no ballad, but instead a raw, guttural track that became his greatest commercial success and reportedly surpassed 1 million copies in sales, although it failed to make the Billboard pop or R&B charts. The performance was mesmerizing, although Hawkins himself blacked out and was unable to remember the session. Rock star, straight up. Afterward, he had to relearn the song from the recorded version. Meanwhile, the record label recorded a second version of the single, removing most of the grunts that had embellished the original performance. This was in response to complaints about the recording's overt sexuality. That's funny. Nonetheless, it was banned from radio in some areas. So this is in the 50s in America, so it's a whole different time period. I mean, so they banned this record because they thought there was sexual overtones, and I get that. Just like, you know, the first time they saw Elvis Presley on TV dancing, they wouldn't show him from the waist down because it was too sexually suggestive. It's just funny when you think about these things now in 2018 that was an issue. Soon after the release of I Put a Spell on You, radio disc jockey Alan Freed offered Hawkins $300 to emerge from a coffin on stage. Hawkins didn't want to, reportedly saying, "No black dude gets in the coffin alive." They don't expect to get out. There it is. But reluctantly accepted and soon created an outlandish stage persona in which performances began with the coffin and included a gold and leopard skin costumes and notable voodoo stage props, such as his smoking skull on a stick named Henry and rubber snakes. These props were suggestive of voodoo, but also presented with comic overtones that invited comparison to a black Vincent Price. Despite the commercial success of the gimmick, Hawkins resented the schlock factor that made him famous. He found it exploitive and believed it undermined his sincerity as a vocalist and a balladeer. In a 1973 interview, he bemoaned the Screamin epithet given to him by his label OKEH Records, saying, "If it were up to me, I wouldn't be Screamin' Jay Hawkins. James Brown did an awful lot of screaming, but never got called Screamin' James Brown. Why can't people take me as a regular singer without making a boogeyman out of me?" I mean, and I get that, but when it works, it works. And, you know, you were the father of shock rock, which means, you know, the 70s stage shows that David Bowie put on at Kiss and glam rock and punk, that all goes back to you. And The Who and mod rock, that goes back to you, Mr. Hawkins, who are out there in the universe. You know, you get credit for that. Theatrics on stage, you brought that to rock and roll, which means that you helped make rock and roll exciting. Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Fats Domino, and Bo Diddley, and Ike Turner, they molded it, and you gave it a whole new life as well. You added more liveliness to the set with your performances. So be proud of that. I Put a Spell on You became a classic cult song covered by a variety of artists such as Creedence Clearwater Revival, Nina Simone, Alan Price, The Animals, Them with Van Morrison, Arthur Brown, Brian Ferry from Roxy Music, of course, Buddy Guy with Carlos Santana, Tim Curry, and that's probably from the Rocky Horror Show, Picture Horror Show, Leon Russell, Joe Cocker, Nick Cave. In a concert-only version, Marilyn Manson, Mika Paris with David Gilmour, Jeff Beck and Joss Stone, and Diamanda Gallus and Annie Lennox. In 2014, for a Grammy-nominated album, Nostalgia, Hawkins' original I Put a Spell on You was featured during the show and over the credits of episode 303 of The Simpsons. Okay? So now we'll go into the description of this record, and then we'll go into it. Cornbread Records. Yes, folks, that's the name of the label. I'm not even joking. Cornbread Records presents a reissue of At Home with Screamin' Jay Hawkins. Originally released in 1958, by far one of the most outrageous performers of the early years of rock, prone to emerging from coffins on stage with a flaming skull named Henry as his constant companion, Screamin' Jay was an insanely theatrical figure long before it was even remotely acceptable. His 1958 debut At Home, featuring his legendary I Put a Spell on You, along with surreal hits like Hong Kong, Take Me Back to the Boot and Saddle, or his wild-ass reinventions of old standards like I Love Paris and Deep Purple, is carefully arranged yet gritty, Ray Charles Gone Crazy styled, full band rhythm and blues masterpiece filled with enough howls and groans to send chills down your spine. Reissued here on 180 gram vinyl. It includes a download code when you buy it on vinyl. But the best material lies in the 13 bonus cuts, which are on the CD reissue. The bonuses, the backing does go some way towards matching Hawkins' insanity. Lieber and Stoller's Alligator Wine is like a Hammer horror reading of Manish Boy, while the Manic Blues are frenzy preempts of Tom Waits. The biggest surprise, however, is the reworked I Put a Spell on You from 1974, a slow, understated recording. It gives Hawkins room to sing straight, well, almost. His resulting vocal, while still melodramatic, is hauntingly. So that's a good description of the record. So now let's go. I'm gonna go into the songs off this record. Let me give you my take on it. I'm gonna start off. So once again, the Halloween theme, as I already said. So the first track we're gonna do is called "Little Demon." Starts off with saxophone, drums, and upright bass. Screamin' Jay Hawkins raps about a little demon. The band stops in the middle of his verses and picks back up in between his verses and plays through his mumbling signature chorus. The saxophones groove and bass anchor this song. The production is classic 50s rock and roll. The music breathes around his verses just like Tutti Frutti from Little Richard or Jailhouse Rock from Elvis Presley. The drums have an acoustic rockabilly sensibility to their snare and kick drum sound. This song seems to be about a guy who has a temper like a demon. This man also seems to be enamored with the woman and will use his powers to fight Mother Nature just to get the woman he's crazy about. His temperament is that of a little demon. There you go. So here's the lyrics. Down in the valley on a foggy little rock stood a pretty little demon blowing his top, fire in his eyes and smoke from his head. You got to be real cool to hear the words he said. He said, mumbling, that cat was mad. You have to all hear Screamin' Jay Hawkins. It's a unique, beautiful, amazing experience. There is nobody who sounds like him. There's only one Little Richard. There's only one Screamin' Jay Hawkins. There's only one Chuck Berry, Fats Domino, Bo Diddley. There's only one Elvis Presley. I have to give him credit too. There's only one of these cats. When you hear Screamin' Jay, it's amazing. It's you're like, wow, he's really doing that, and it works. He had steam in his soul for the one he loved, so he had death on his mind because my demon let him go. He's going to run through the world till we understand his pain. Somebody help him get his demon home again, he said, mumbling and scowling. That cat was mad. He made the sky turn green. He made the grass turn red. He even put pretty hair on Grandma's bald head. He made the moon back up. He even pushed back time. He took the fruity out of Tootie. He had the devil drinking wine. He said, mumbling and scowling, that cat was mad. This demon felt good because he finally got across to the crazy little demon that the woman's still the boss. Down in the valley on the foggy little rock, you can still hear the demon blowing his top. He said, mumbling and scowling, that cat was mad. He pushed back bright in the afternoon. He even made leap year jump over the moon. He took the 4th of July and put it in May. He took this morning for a drive yesterday. He said, mumbling and scowling, that cat was mad. So it's a fun track. It is. Alligator Wine, also one of my favorite tracks from Screamin' Jay Hawkins. And by the way, the cover I described to you has like an orange background for the cover of this record. Alligator Wine starts off with Screamin' Jay Hawkins screaming twice. The next sound is of a monkey or gorilla calling out as if he was in the jungle. A blues guitar comes in with the simple rhythm and slow kick drum. A saxophone plays in the background. It plays in sync with the drums and blues guitar. You can hear various animal noises in the background while Screamin' Jay Hawkins sings. The saxophone and drums navigate the song. This is one of his slower paced songs that has a less is more traditional blues feel to it. This song seems to be about making voodoo, about making a voodoo love potion. Screamin' Jay Hawkins wants her to drink his alligator wine so that she can be his girl. The lyrics are vivid with imagery, but still a little abstract in their meaning. So yeah, they're vivid and you get a picture, but you're still not quite exactly sure. So, and here's the lyrics. Take the blood out of an alligator. Take the left eye out of a fish. Take the skin off of a frog and mix it all up in a dish. Add a cup of green swamp water and then count from 1 to 9. Spill over your left shoulder. You got alligator wine. Alligator wine. Ha 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 ha. Your porcupine. Ha. It's going to make you mine. Oh, yeah, it's going to make you mine. It'll make you head bald, baby. I say it'll make your toes freeze. I'll turn your blood turn into steam. It'll make you cough and sneeze. You got to scream like an eagle. We'll see. We'll do some more of the lyrics after this break.
Watching TV has changed over time. Streaming has become the new norm. That's why Golden State Media Concepts television podcast dives headfirst to the world of cord cutting. Want to be on the loop of what's hot in Netflix? Or if it's not a preference, what about original shows in Hulu? We've got you covered. Join us as we fill in the blank and talk about movies to stream and what show you should be binging. This is the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast.
And once again, you're listening to Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. This is your Captain Keith. I'm reviewing Screamin' Jay Hawkins. At home with Screamin' Jay Hawkins. Happy Halloween. You got to roar like a mountain lion when you get finished drinking. Good old alligator wine. Alligator wine, your porcupine. It's going to make you mine. Meet me at the stroke of midnight by the swamp down in the wood. I'm going to make you love me, baby, like you never thought you could. You're going to break my magic potion, and your bloodshot eye is going to shine. You're going to be scared forever. Too much alligator wine. Alligator wine, your porcupine. It's going to make you mine. Alligator wine. I want so badly for Fishbone to cover that song with Angela Moore singing that. You don't even know. So, and last but not least, I Put a Spell on You is Screamin' Jay Hawkins' most famous and covered song. I've already said that. It truly is a classic. The song starts off with this haunting deep saxophone tone that is hypnotic in its repetitive rhythm. The drums also coming in and match the saxophone's notes as the rhythm guitar lays in the background and sounds more like a faint banjo responding to the saxophone and drums rhythmic pattern. The saxophone and drums anchor this song. The music production actually sounds like a vaudeville or circus-like carnival production if you were to remove Screamin' Jay's vocals from the song. His vocals are so intensely haunting and crucial to this song that it completely changes the feel of the music. This song is about putting a spell on someone so you can have them all to yourself. And if there was ever any music that I wish I could play on this podcast right now, it would be this song so you can hear it after that description that I gave. I love this song. I'm going to listen to it on my way home today. And then you hear the hook, Screamin' Jay Hawkins, spell, ooh, spell. I put a spell on you, oh, spell, ooh, spell. Because you're mine, ooh, spell, ooh, spell. Stop the things you do, ooh, spell, ooh, spell. Watch out, I ain't lying, yeah, I can't stand, ooh, spell. No running around, ooh, spell, I can't stand, no, put me down. I put a spell on you because you're mine. Oh, yeah. You spell. Stop the things you do. Ooh, spell. Watch out. Watch out. I ain't lying. I love you. I love you. I love you. Yeah. I don't care if you don't want me. Ooh, spell. I'm yours right now. Ooh, spell. I put a spell on you. Ooh, spell because you're mine. Ooh, spell. At Home with Screamin' Jay Hawkins is a great record that shows the many various moves and styles of this rock and roll pioneer who basically brought stage theatrics to rock and roll. while on stage, therefore paving the way for stage antics from punk rock to mod rock with The Who and so many more. I already said that earlier. This record shows a screaming Jay Hawkins who has a great baritone voice, who can sing when he wanted to, and still go crazy and give you blowing, screaming, guttural vocals that stimulate and titillate. He can woo you with a ballad and intrigue you with bold and primal vocal theatrics. On a scale from 1 to 10, I give this record an 8.5. It's a great Halloween record. It's just a great rock and roll record, and you can play it during Halloween time as well. It's cool. I mean, you'll play certain tracks more than others, but he's got that vibe. So he could, I mean, if he was alive today, he could be doing just rock and roll festivals, and he could be doing a Halloween special, and I'd watch and listen. Favorite tracks on this record: Orange Colored Sky, Temptation, I Love Paris, I Put a Spell on You, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, Old Man River, If You Are But a Dream, Deep Purple, You Made Me Love You, I Didn't Want to Do It. I love that song, and I love that title because that kind of happens sometimes, just saying. Little Demon, Alligator Wine, Frenzy, and There's Something Wrong with You. You Ain't Fooling Me, Little Demon, alternate take. I Put a Spell on You, alternate take. There's Something Wrong with You, alternate take, and Alligator Wine, alternate take. And by the way, once again, the bonus cuts are on the CD and not on the vinyl. So there you go. Once again, at a home, Screamin' Jay Hawkins, check it out. And last but not least, one more album for you. It's called Halloween Hits. And it's got two skeletons kind of dancing, outside somewhere, like it's maybe outside of a temple or because you got like these columns, these big sturdy columns on both sides of it. And this cover could actually be like a Grateful Dead record cover, actually, now the more I think about it. And let me give you the description of this record. Rhino's Halloween Hits delivers everything anyone could want from a collection of spooky, campy rock and roll novelty songs about ghouls, ghosts, goblins, and monsters, namely the Monster Mash. Just kidding, folks. It has much more than that, including Jumpin' Gene Simmons' Haunted House by him, The Five Blobs with The Blob, Ray Parker Jr.'s Ghostbusters, Neil Norman's Twilight Zone, Sheb Wooley's Purple People Eater, Screamin' Jay Hawkins' I Put a Spell on You, Louis Lee's Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, and Victor Mizzi's Timeless The Addams Family. In other words, it's spooky music for the ages, not just Halloween. And I agree with that. So, and let me give you my take on it. First song we're going to go over. This is probably like the first Halloween song or first fun Halloween song I remember listening to. When I was a kid, I ordered these. I ordered this music, and it was a series called Fun Rock, and one of the recordings had like all these like Halloween like monster themed songs on it, and Monster Mash and Purple People Eater was on it, and Wooly Bully. I loved it. So Monster Mash, we'll start off with that one. It starts off with a casket opening and water boiling and a chain dragging on the floor. The drums come in and a faint piano comes in behind the drums. Once Bobby Boris Pickett starts singing, the bass comes in playing single note rhythms. The piano playing in the background has a Broadway style melody to it, and the melody is still faint but clear enough to help navigate the song. The background vocals that are pre-chorus and chorus make the song shine with their harmonizing. The background vocals, they call and respond to Bobby Boris Pickett's chorus and vocals. It's the part you remember the most when you hear that song. You know, it was the mash, it was the Monster Mash. So the background vocalists are, it was the mash, the mash, and then Bobby Boris like, it was the Monster Mash. So it's call and response. It's pretty cool. This song is about Frankenstein and all the creatures of the night dancing the night away. Zombies, vampires, werewolves. No more Transylvania twist. It's all about the Monster Mash. This is perhaps the most popular Halloween song of its day. And here's some of the lyrics. I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight, for my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the mash. He did the Monster Mash. The Monster Mash. It was a graveyard smash. He did the mash. It caught on in a flash. He did the mash. He did the Monster Mash. Then the second verse. From my laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast, the ghouls all came from their humble abodes to get a jolt from my electrodes. much love to Bobby Boris Pickett. I mean, basically, he's got bars. He's rhyming. This is rap, basically. I definitely want some hip hop artists to redo this song and use these lyrics. I love it. I'm sorry. That just occurred to me as I was reading the lyrics to you guys. I love it. The chorus. They did the mash. They did the monster mash. The monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. They did the mash. It caught on in a flash. They did the mash. They did the monster mash. And then the third verse. The zombies were having fun. The party had just begun. The guests included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. The scene was rocking. All were digging the sounds. Igor on chains, backed by his baying hounds. The coffin bangers were about to arrive with their vocal group, the Crypt Kicker 5, which is Bobby Boris Pickett's group. And of course, they played the mash. They played the monster mash. The monster mash, it was a graveyard smash. They played the mash. It caught on in a flash. They played the mash. They played the monster mash. Out from the coffin, verse 4, Drax's voice did ring. Seems he was troubled by just one thing. He opened the lid and shook his fist and said, whatever happened to my Transylvania twist? It's now the mash. It's now the monster mash. The monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It's now the mash. It caught on in a flash. It's now the mash. It's now the monster mash. Verse 5. Now everything's cool. Drax a part of the band, and my monster mash is a hit of the land. For you, the living, the smash was meant to. When you get to my door, tell them Boris sent you. And then the chorus. Then you can mash. Then you can monster mash. The monster mash. And do my graveyard smash. Then you can mash. You'll catch on in a flash. Then you can mash. Then you can monster mash. The outro. Igor, mash, good. That's Igor speaking. Mad scientist. Easy, Igor, you impetuous. Igor, mash, good. Grr. So that was fun. You guys got to hear the song. I mean, it's definitely an old school song, but when you hear it, it's just fun and it's just catchy. It's cool. Like I said, I'd love to see a rapper redo that. I mean, Halloween music and Halloween has inspired. I mean, there's a genre of hip hop called horrorcore. People in that would have been Esham, Necro, Brother Lynch Hung, ICP, Twisted, Tyler the Creator. So, I mean, that's a genre of hip hop where it's a horror style. The Grave Diggers. I mean, lots of people. So the Purple People Eater by Sheb Woolley starts off with more than one voice making a yelling / haunting noise in unison with a drum roll. The guitar plays a clean sounding rhythmic guitar that plays with basic guitar strumming. The upright bass actually encompasses the guitar. The rhythmic guitar plays off in the distance while the upright bass drives and navigates the song along with the drums. Towards the end of the song is a killer saxophone solo that plays front and center. The song has a rockabilly feel to it because of the upright bass and how it's played within the song. This song is about a purple people eater who is an alien who comes to Earth because he wants to be in a rock and roll band. This is another famous and catchy Halloween song that is, it's right up there with the Monster Mash. It's these two songs are probably the most famous Halloween songs of their time. And here's the lyrics. Well, I saw the thing coming out of the sky. It had a one long horn and one big eye. Ooh, I commenced to shake and then I said, ooh-wee, it looks like a purple people eater to me. It was a one-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater. I mean, one-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater. A one-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater. It sure looks strange to me. One eye. I mean, and here's another guy who's basically rhyming. He's got bars here. Well, he came down to Earth and he lit in a tree. I said, Mr. Purple People Eater, don't eat me. I heard him say in a voice so gruff, I wouldn't eat you because you're so tough. That's the Purple People Eater talking there. It's funny. It was a one-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater. One-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater. One-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater. Sure looks strange to me. One horn. I said, Mr. Purple People Eater, what's your line? He said, eating purple people, it sure is fine. But that's not the reason that I came to land. I want to get a job in a rock and roll band. Well, bless my soul, rock and roll. Flying purple people eater, pigeon-toed, undergrowed, flying purple people eater. We wear short shorts. Friendly little people eater. What a sight to see. Ooh. And then he swung from the tree and he lit on the ground. He started to rock, really rocking around. It was a crazy ditty with a swinging tune. Sing a boppa, boppa, a boopa, loppa, boop, boom, bam, boom. That was funny, me saying that. Well, bless my soul, rock and roll. Flying purple people eater, pigeon toe undergrowth. Flying purple people eater, I like short shorts. Flying little people eater, what a sight to see, purple people. Huh. And then he went on his way. And then what do you know? I saw him last night on a TV show. Oh, here we go. He was blowing it out, or really knocking him dead, playing rock and roll music through a horn in his head. That would have been the sight to see. Then there's this a sped up saxophone solo, Tequila. That's how the lyrics end. So, another great song. So, I got one more for you. All right. Ghostbusters by Ray Parker Jr. is a fan favorite. The song starts off with one slide guitar note. Then the synthesizers breathe in their hypnotic and haunting rhythms that sound like a monotone fire alarm going off. Synth drums and synth bass come in and navigate the song as Ray Parker Jr. sings. The synthesizer begins to play a particular rhythm that sounds like a horn arrangement on keys. This rhythm is also a staple of the song. The production of the song is primarily stemming from the synthesizer with the rhythm and lead guitar that play in the background off in the distance. The synthesizer and keys overlap each other in regards to the production. There are plenty of moody atmospherics in the background that should sound scary but actually sound upbeat because of the pop feel and approach to the song. The song is fast-paced and upbeat. If this classic pop song was slowed down, it would probably sound much more scary than the more I think about it. This song is from the classic comedy film Ghostbusters, which starred Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, and Ernie Hudson with Sigourney Weaver. The song is about parapsychologists, crime fighters going up against ghosts terrorizing their city. And here's the lyrics. Ghostbusters. If there's something strange in your neighborhood, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters. If there's something weird and it don't look good, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters. I ain't afraid of no ghost. I ain't afraid of no ghost. If you're seeing things running through your head, who are you going to call? Ghostbusters. An invisible man sleeping in your bed. Ow. Who are you going to call? Ghostbusters. I ain't afraid of no ghost. I ain't afraid of no ghost. Who are you going to call? Ghostbusters. If you're all alone, pick up the phone and call Ghostbusters. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Ooh. I hear it likes the girls. I ain't afraid of no ghost. Yeah. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. If you had a dose of a freaky ghost, baby, you better call Ghostbusters. Ow. Let me tell you something. Busting makes me feel good. I ain't afraid of no ghost. I ain't afraid of no ghost. Don't get caught alone. Oh no, Ghostbusters. When it comes through your door, unless you just want some more, I think you better call Ghostbusters. Ow, who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Think you better call? Think you better call Ghostbusters. Ha ha. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. I can't hear you. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Louder. Ghostbusters. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. That repeats. Who you gonna call? You're gonna call. It likes the girls too. Ghostbusters. And by the way, there was a remake of Ghostbusters that came out about a year ago, I believe, with Kate McKinnon and Melissa McCarthy, and Leslie Jones, I believe. It was and Chris Hemsworth. It was fun. It's a fun film to watch. So Halloween Hits is another great Halloween compilation with music that ranges from old to new, that definitely embodies the upbeat and creative side to Halloween. The other songs on here are like Haunted House from Jumpin' Gene Simmons. I mentioned that. Well, we mentioned all the stuff on here. The Martian Hop from the Rondelles. So on a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst and 10 being the best, I give this record a 7.5. Excuse me, a 7.5. Favorite tracks on this Halloween Hits compilation are Monster Mash by Bobby Boris Pickett and the Crypt Kickers, Ghostbusters by Ray Parker Jr., Twilight Zone by Neil Norman and his Cosmic Orchestra, instrumental. The Purple People Eater by Shep Woolley. The Addams Family, main title by Vic Mizzy from the classic TV series. And I Put a Spell on You by Screamin' Jay Hawkins. Those are my favorite tracks on this record. So 7.5. So, good people of the planet Earth and the known universe, thank you for listening to the Halloween music podcast edition. Happy Halloween to all of you. Hope you had a good time. I appreciate you all. I know I did. And next week, what are we going to be? I will be reviewing Travis Scott's new album. Ace Frehley from Kiss's new record. And 1 second. I'm going to tell you. I want to make sure I say her name properly. I got to find her. Because I didn't write it down. I knew the first two. But there's one more person. It's going to be an R&B record. She's from England. And let's see. Where are we? Just about done, folks. Give me one. Yasmin Lacey. The album's called When the Sun Dips 90 Degrees. That's an EP. Yes. So Travis Scott with Astro World, the new Ace Frehley record, and Yasmin Lacey. So that'll be next week. So once again, good people of the planet Earth and the known universe, thank you. Much love. And until next time, see you somewhere out in space.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.